welcome to the ATYL live stream on a Thursday night. I am joined by my buddies Ben, Dom, Adam, Rob should be joining us later. But we got some NASCAR stuff to talk about today, and I'm sure if you've watched the show for a long time, we'll probably go off the rails and talk about something a little different. But that's how we roll here. But glad you could all join us. A few things. I mean, well, first off, how are you guys? Ben, Dom, Adam, how are you? What's going on?
I'm doing pretty good.
Just doing-
You know, it was a very surprisingly good weekend for NASCAR racing.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting it to go that well, but makes this week even better because now we're going to a very traditional racetrack.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, well, let's just get into Bristol Dirt. Hi, John. Thanks for joining us in the chat. We'll just go right into it. I know all the talking points have already been kind of sorted out by like everybody, every podcast, every industry person, but we'll close it out for us here and everyone in the comments who wants to chime in. First off, do we think this was the best Bristol Dirt race that we've had in the past 3 years?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't watch a single moment of it, but even I know that it's better than the last two.
Nice, Ben.
Hey, I didn't take a nap during it, so that's a success in my book.
It definitely was.
Because I will say, there's a few races this season that have been nap worthy.
I've fallen asleep at a couple.
Yeah,
that one was not nap worthy.
It wasn't. I thought it was good. I enjoyed last year's, I did, but this one, it was clean. I think NASCAR, got to applaud them and everyone who works on the track. They did a great job maintaining it, keeping up with it. And overall, I know that there was a lot of single car spins that happened, but overall, it was pretty clean. I know we could cover like the Kyle Larson and Priest incident, and that kind of goes into the preview of Martinsville that we'll do later in the show. But I mentioned this on the normal episode, and I don't know what you guys think, but the fact that we have all these short track races in a row, it builds up some rivalries, it builds up some tension. It's just short track racing, as Denny Hamlin and all the drivers would say. But I guess overall thoughts. You guys think that Bristol Dirt should stay? Are we good with it? What moving forward? What's the move?
Am I going first?
Go for it.
I'll jump in. It was entertaining, but why put dirt on an already great entertaining track?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like right there. That's in my book. That's a no-no. Bristol's great. You get your day Bristol at the beginning of the season. You get your night Bristol towards the end of the season. It's the best of both worlds. Bring back the concrete, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat. I think it was a fun idea at first. It was very exciting and intriguing, and I feel like now that the new has worn off. I have also just been someone that's always been a fan of old Bristol, so I would rather, if we're going to run dirt, let's go to Knoxville, let's go to Eldora, tracks that are actual dirt. And I know Knoxville has kind of been known to be a she-show over the past few years for the trucks, but I'm a big fan of we've done it through words. We have done this for 3 years now, and it's fine. But let's do something different if we're gonna be about. I'm just over it. So
yeah, I'm on the same page. I just think it's it was a good race. Let's cap it off with that. It was a good event. But there's two things that stuck out in my head. Number one, it's you're making a non-dirt track a dirt track when there's plenty of dirt tracks that would love this kind of attention.
Yeah.
And Eldora is such a good racetrack. We saw fantastic truck races there. For those that didn't watch any of the Eldora truck races, there were a couple where Kyle Larson was knocking the fence down lap after lap, trying to catch the leader, literally threw his truck away, just trying to win that race. It was so much fun to watch. So it's just disappointing that they wouldn't go for that kind of racetrack. I get it because there's not that many stands. It's a local area. It's not going to be able to hold that many people. That can be fixed. And then the other thing is they raced on Easter Sunday. They raced on a major, major holiday. And for a sport that prays before every race, you would think they would take this kind of holiday very, very seriously and want to give it off for the teams and the fans, especially the fans that want to be with their families on a holiday like this. So that's my 2 cents on it. But at the end of the day, I hate to say it, but it was a fun finish. It was fun.
To encompass all that too, I mean, there was also talk on social media this week of like, well, at least I think Brad Keselowski brought it up after everyone was like, maybe we shouldn't be racing on Easter, but should we have more off weekends during the season? Brad brought up a few dates, like, make this one time an off weekend, sometime in August, an off weekend, then right before we go into the playoffs, an off weekend, or something like that. But I mean, these drivers and these teams, they spend so much time away from their families this season. With a holiday, like you said, Dom, a sport that prays before each race, you would want to spend that time on Easter with your family, but they're not. And it also goes to have the conversation too of there weren't a lot of butts and seats. I know it's a huge track in terms of there's a lot of seating area, short track, but a lot of seating area. But it was like 50% full. And that has to go with, sure, it's the spring, maybe it's a little chilly out. It's also Easter. But then NASCAR has to start rethinking, okay, how do we get people back at Bristol if we get rid of the dirt? And that, I don't know. Just because I know before the dirt, the attendance wasn't as great as NASCAR would have liked it. It was not the best. So I don't know. We'll see. Also, the other point here, and I think you guys will agree with me on this, Bristol Dirt should not be a points race. It shouldn't. Maybe you don't agree with it because I just don't know. It's so counterintuitive to what we do the rest of the season. It feels like it's like an all-star race or an exhibition race. That's just my thought, though.
What I'll say to that is, if it comes down to a take or leave situation, absolutely keep Bristol Dirt a points race if it means the Coliseum isn't a points race.
Yeah.
I'd put it that way. That would be my response to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My only thing, like going back to the Easter stuff, I have two things, and both were good points that I heard this week from Jordan Bianchi on the Teardown. The first thing is, this is Sunday night prime time. Like, if Fox is going to say, "Hey, we're going to give you that," that's a pretty big deal, and I can understand why NASCAR says we got to pounce on this while we can. Because this is this is the dead zone. Like, you have baseball, which is a big sport in America, but like NBA, or I don't know, I'm not an NBA guy, but most college basketball stuff's wrapped up by this time, by Easter at the latest. There's no football. Hockey's in its waning phases, and there's just limited games in general. But like, that's something you have to jump at. So I see the point in it, and odds are like no other. I don't know. Again, I don't follow baseball. No other major sports are probably playing on Easter Sunday. You see it with the NFL does it with football on Thanksgiving. NBA has their big matchups on Christmas. So I think it's just kind of a new thing. I don't necessarily agree with it because I feel like growing up we had so many off weekends, and now it's like we have none, and it's 36 straight weeks. And you see people on Twitter that run their mouth about how they chose to work in this industry. They don't. And I'm like, okay, but guess what? I could take a PTO day any day at work that I want to. Like, they're allowed to have weekends off, I would argue. So it's a weird thing. I also the second point that I'll say is they need to move. Like, they need to move this race to some different weekend. Like, the it's been an issue for forever. Like, they got to find if they move it later in the year, like maybe late April, early May. Cool. Like, if they want this to succeed as a second day, I think that's what they need to do. That's all I have to say. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I can count right off the top of my head about 4 different Bristol Spring races that had rain mess with the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially for adding dirt into this.
Messed with the weekend.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
But I mean, no matter how you move around the dates, it depends on where you go. But this time of year, a track is going to be affected by weather, depending. I think that's a good idea why we start off with the West Coast swing, just because, not as much rain over there sometimes. But then again, we saw there was some rain this year. But yeah, maybe just reconfiguring the schedule. We already know that Auto Club's gone on the schedule next year. So what's going to be filled in? Are they going to move some dates around? I know the Chicago Street Course, they have a 3-year deal for that. And I know that's like, when is that again? That's like, is that
July 4th weekend?
Yeah. Okay. I was like, I think that's July 4th. But then there's the other question of like, there's controversy around that. Is that going to stay? Are we going to move the dates around for that? I don't know. So we will have to see. Ben has just left. He was so upset about all of this.
He sneezed.
Ben doesn't want to hear what I have to say.
I've got his back. He sneezed.
Bless you, sir.
What would be really cool is if if Bristol swapped dates with Sonoma and we get to go out to Sonoma when it's all green.
Okay. I'm on board with that. Let's
Green
look at that.
Sonoma it gives off really, really nice vibes. I think it was Bozzy tweeted out a video either a few weeks ago or something, and I retweeted it and said Sonoma in green. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Honestly,
I think
I'm
that
not
would be
mad about it.
interesting. Part of that first West Coast swing of the season.
You're talking about Sonoma when the grass is green.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to see. No, it's a beautiful track when it's like actual grass. It's such a pretty place.
Let's petition to make that happen. I'm honestly on board with that.
Can make it
Let's
work.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine.
It happens.
Yeah.
But I guess that closes out Bristol Dirt. I'll read some of your comments real quick here.
Truck race was a banger. That's all. So.
Okay, the truck race was pretty good. It was decent.
I mean, the
I
battle,
mean,
the battle from
it was
Sonoma back
okay.
was good.
It was messy, but it was
It
decent.
wrapped up.
Logano's truck was really cool, and I say that as
Yeah.
I'm not a Logano fan. So
Oh, and shout out to Blaney spotting for Joey Logano, getting that dub.
True.
yeah, that was such an awkward TV interview that they did. He was like, "I'm cold. I'm up here. I'm doing
Yeah.
stuff."
But he did a good job.
He did get a sword afterwards. That was pretty cool
Yeah.
for a spotter.
Cool. Love it. David said, keep it on Easter Sunday. John said it's time for the Bristol Spring Race to go. At this point, it's run its course. And if the dirt race can't get fans in the stands, then what's the point of having a Bristol Spring Race at all? Fair.
Yeah, make it a Bristol summer race.
By
Perhaps.
swapping it with Sonoma. Hey.
And my concern is, as NASCAR is looking to expand to different markets because they have to in order for the sport to grow sometimes, maybe this is a track that gets replaced and they fill it with a new track that they're looking at.
With the new car, do we try Kentucky again?
Give me a tire test. Just give me a tire test.
Yeah,
That's
all I want is a
Maybe.
tire test just to see.
Maybe. We'll see. Does SMI still own Kentucky? I think they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's on the
Yeah.
property list.
Yeah, because they do the NASCAR driving experience still up there
See,
every now and then.
That's a petition I'm signing right now. I think it's worth a shot. I mean, we've seen,
They've got to test them first because if it's
Well, they
not
gotta test it
worth
first.
then they'll go.
but here's my
Yeah.
thing. The Gen 7 car for me elevated, I mean, again, like potatoes, whatever it is, but it elevated the racing that we saw at all these other tracks. Thanks, Dom. Like,
Ooh,
especially in
Ja-
Kentucky too. I started thinking about
James.
that.
James makes
James?
great comment. James is
Hey,
great. We
is
love
this-
James.
Is this it? Also, we love
No.
James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Please don't.
Why?
It's not
I
a
don't
bad
want the
idea.
fairgrounds.
Why?
Adam.
Send it to North Wilkesboro instead.
They have a race.
Yeah, just for this year.
Probably
Ugh.
forever at this point because everyone under God's green acre is going to go out to Wilkesboro.
Yeah.
It's honestly going to be like the first Nashville race
Yeah.
where people
Sure.
aren't even going to be to their seats by the green flag,
Oh, God, yeah. It's going to be packed.
which is awesome though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm
How
for it.
awesome is that weekend going to be?
Yeah, that'll be exciting. None of you guys are gonna be at that, are you?
I don't think so. I
No.
actually can't afford North Wilkesboro.
I was
Yeah,
like, we can't
that-
afford it.
Barely
But-
afford to breathe.
And the one thing too that makes that weekend even better is the 29's coming back. One more go.
God.
Oh, I'm so
One
excited.
more go. Oh man, that's going to be
That's-
incredible.
We're all gonna cry.
I mean, I kind of want to make that hour-and-a-half trip, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to.
The money's ridiculous for
I wonder if Hendrick would bring the Rainbow 24 back too. I wonder if they would do it.
Oh,
that.
Because like since Gordon has stepped out of it, they haven't been shy bringing it back.
No, true.
So
If
maybe
we did
all
that,
the Hendrick cars did like a retro of that number scheme, like the 5 would do the old what was it, Kellogg's Cornflakes car.
yeah.
Yeah.
I want that so bad.
I if we're doing that, I would not be against Real Tree coming on Dylan's car and doing a
We're
black
talking
3.
like this. Oh, the
No,
cornflakes.
I'm
Sorry,
talking
I thought you said.
cornflakes.
Sorry, I thought you said frosted flakes.
The Frosted Flakes car is sweet too. That
It
was
is.
So
and,
good. But no, the cornflakes scheme, that's actually one of my favorite schemes of all time. This is second.
I'm
Matt
very
Dixon is
glad
in the
that
chat.
I'm very glad that when I worked at the NASCAR Hall of Fame, they had that car there that I actually got to see it in person. The
Oh,
cornflakes car.
lucky.
It's like I'm glad I got to see this in person. This thing's
So
amazing.
cool.
Oh, mommy.
Hi, Matt. Well, let's move into some NASCAR news. Just kind of close. Thanks, Matt. Just closing out Bristol there. There's not a whole lot of news on its own. There's a lot of news tied into Martinsville that we'll get to in a second. But I guess the big thing is that Hendrick Motorsports is not appealing their L1 penalty for the greenhouse area of the car that was manipulated. Looked iffy, according to NASCAR. So Hendrick is just going to kind of move on. Last week, after last week's race, or the Bristol Dirt race, no cars were taken to the R&D center. I think everyone needs a week off of penalties and appeals, and so
Also, like you can't I feel like it's gonna be hard to tech those cars.
yeah, because I mean they're different than what we usually run with the dirt package and everything like that. So
They're dirty.
So I guess we can talk about thanks guys. We can question this a little bit, but like the appeals process, that's been a hot topic
What's to
few
discuss? Everybody knows about as much as we do.
I know.
Not much.
I mean,
Did anyone listen to Actions Detrimental
Yep.
after Hamlin's? Yeah, like I
was
said,
gonna
it's
bring that
probably
up.
as close as we're gonna get to
Yeah.
understanding the appeals panel ever, or at least for the foreseeable future. I think NASCAR is on the right track of they changed the ruling now to where the appeals panel can't reduce, like they can't remove
eliminate.
anything. They can reduce stuff, but they can't remove stuff. So I think that's a step in the right direction. Yeah, I think this is going to go to a point where I think NASCAR is going to make their own appeals panel for their own sporting body at this point. Just because after the Hendrick stuff, they really got caught with their pants down, and it really looks bad. Whether you think that they're biased towards Hendrick, like some of the fan base is or not, like it looks rough. So
the one thing I'll say about that is the only thing. I mean, it makes sense what they did. It makes perfect sense. But the only thing I don't like about it is they made the change immediately.
Yeah.
Like what I told Matt, as a matter of fact, on the phone when he asked me about it, I said it's like kids playing on the playground and they don't like what happened, so they change the rules immediately so it benefits themselves.
Yeah.
Like what they're not the best at letting a whole season play out and then using the off season to make the changes. But
to NASCAR's defense, I agree. I don't like when we're changing rules right away. And I think even last year we saw with the whole tire penalty, it's a hefty penalty that they got. And with some of the other penalties that the Brad Keselowski one, whatever it is, they waited a whole season to change that because they're like, well, if we change it now, it's going to screw over the people that we gave the full penalty to. But with this one, though, I think NASCAR had to act fast on this because of how controversial this was. From us on the outside, it was the same exact penalty to Colleague and Hendrick. Different rules.
Got away with it.
Yeah. So I don't blame NASCAR for acting immediately after the rulings came out. I think they had to. Do I think it's great? No, but I feel like they had to.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the last time I remember them making a change instantly after something controversial was the lug nut rule, when you didn't have to get all 5 tight.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they had issues with loose wheels at Bristol in 2016, and then they said, okay, we're getting rid of this now, where you have to have all 5 on post race.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the last time they made a instant change to something.
Yeah.
I could be wrong though.
No, that sounds accurate though. I mean, and there's some instances, again, a lot of these are case by case sometimes, which also can cause a lot of inconsistency, but this is a case where I think they had to be immediate with it. That's just my take. I also forgot, I'm staring at the point standings for us right now. I didn't show them. So I'm just going to show them now. This is way off topic, but here we are.
Look who grabbed a checkered flag.
Adam finally won.
20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration.
Yeah.
Finally.
Adam
watch out,
finally got it
Brandon.
done.
I'm coming for you, Brandon.
Yeah, you close the gap with he
I'm
picked
closing it.
Christopher Bell. Close the gap. So
I've almost broken the 100 point mark, so that is a major success besides the victory. So I'm happy about that.
I love
Yeah.
how we ourselves have a big 3, which tells me, as it stands right now, Rob's going to win the championship.
yeah, yep,
100%.
yep, that makes sense. Yeah,
Calling it.
it's gonna be Rob. But yeah, so far when we've done the point standings, Dom won the first year we did this, which was 2021, right?
Yes.
Oh my god, we've known each other for that long. That's crazy. Sorry. Okay. And then 2022 was me who won it.
I choked
So-
in 2022.
I know, and I was so happy about it.
really choked. No, I was the one that really choked in 22.
Oh, that's right, because Adam, you were
I had a massive lead going into the playoffs and completely just blew it out the door. negatively.
playoffs hit and you just
Sunk.
sunk.
And
So
it doesn't
Looks
surprise
like
me
Will
that Ben
to
is,
the bottom of the board.
third in the points because he logged laps last year as a rookie. And
Yeah.
just, wasn't points racing, just logging laps.
Yeah.
It makes sense. He's doing as well as he's doing.
Ben is doing well.
You're trying, man.
He's doing
Ben was
good.
lurking like a shark in the distance.
Coming up, Millhouse.
Nice. So those are our point standings. We'll get into Martinsville now because there's some news tied into that. First off, there's a lot of drivers making either their first start in a certain series, first start at a certain track. We'll go on with we'll start with we're doing truck debuts. I guess Brad Perez.
Bread!
We love
We
Brad.
love bread!
We need him on the show.
Live,
Live, laugh, low day!
Bring the carbs. Let's go.
He's gonna make his oval debut in the number 20 with Young's Motorsports. So that's exciting. And then Stephen Malazzi at TobyChristie.com as well. He does some esports coverage. He's gonna be not a first truck start, but he's going to be making his first truck start of this season for AM Racing Martinsville or AM Racing Martinsville. So that's for truck series. I just wanted to mention that. Shout out to them.
Swallich, I believe, is
Oh,
showing up
yes.
too.
Yes.
For those that don't know at home, William Swallich, he won ARCA East at Five Flags. He's a rookie in ARCA, but he's making his truck series debut. He is a short track ace. He's doing Tricon's 1 truck, so keep an eye on him. He's going to be a threat easily. So,
yeah. So lots of exciting stuff. Truck series this weekend. Highly recommend watching it. And then, well, we can go to Cup. Well, Xfinity. Caden Honeycutt attempting an Xfinity debut.
yeah.
Right?
And
Yeah.
Heim is also, or no, it's Dover. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, Dover. I had that written down originally. Then I was like, "Ooh, this is Dover." But Corey Heim will be making an Xfinity debut for Sam Hunt Racing at Dover. So we'll talk about that when we get there. Which, my gosh, yeah, it's coming up. So, but yeah, Caden Honeycutt attempting Xfinity debut with the number 74. CHK Racing on Martinsville. Did well in trucks. Decently, 2 top 10s. He's also done some NASCAR Coca-Cola racing for RFK. So he's been around the industry. So cool stuff there. And then for Cup series, we'll talk about this lightly because this is a delicate situation. But Zane Smith is filling in for Cody Ware in the number 51. Cody Ware was arrested and charged with felony assault and misdemeanor assault on a female. So he's indefinitely suspended from NASCAR. In case you missed that this week. But Zane Smith filling in. I think he was a solid pick for RWR, my opinion.
Best case scenario for them.
Yeah, truly.
They did.
That kid. Yep.
RWR also just announced today Tommy Baldwin, the competition director.
The modified legend himself.
Yeah. So
Good move.
yeah.
I
really
got to get
good
that
move.
modded reference in there since Rob's not here.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, "Where's Rob? Where's
This
Rob?
one's
We
you,
need him
homie.
for
Pour
this."
one out for the follow.
Cheers. So that's a lot of names this weekend to watch out for. Zane Smith, I'm excited. We talk about drivers that have the potential to move up to Cup. I think that's a huge jump for him to move up to Cup. But we also have to be aware that Harvick's leaving after the season. There's going to be an empty seat. Whether Stuart Haas goes to 3 cars, looking for another driver to fill it in. I don't know.
I think the way this year's going, I think Gibbs is going to lock him up.
I mean, yeah, but Gibbs don't let him run dirt races no more.
Yeah, and he's so not happy about that.
Yeah, he's not happy.
That could be the reason.
Deal breaker.
Yeah. And then
Interesting.
Hamlin, that whole thing with
Dennis Hamilton.
yeah, FedEx signing back or not. That's another
They
topic.
were on
FedEx
the
is
car.
fed up.
They were on the car last weekend, but they will
They
not
were.
be this weekend.
That's so concerning. Gosh. Okay. So
I think they've only been on the
the
car
67.
three
It's
races this
coming.
so
year.
Oh,
I don't know. Gonna be concerning. Excited for Zane Smith though. And then of course the big news, you guys. Chase Elliott's back. He's back. So
Won the championship.
yeah, he's gonna win the championship now. Settled.
Yeah, he
Done.
broke his leg. That's like how it works,
Yeah.
right? Kyle Busch did it.
Rite
He's
of
gonna do
passage.
it.
break a leg.
Passage.
Yeah. So
It's just like in theater.
yeah. So expectations for him this weekend. Some people are like, oh, he's just gonna like come on in, win it. I am really sad that Josh Berry's not gonna get a chance because I thought he would have done so well at this race, but he will be on standby just in case Chase needs to leave.
I don't
Step out.
know. I don't like. I get that doctors have medically cleared Chase to run, but also like you're going to a track where you're going to be stabbing the brake
Lots of break.
at least twice a lap. You're running 500 lap, or is it 400 laps for the spring race? I can't remember.
400
It's
laps.
400.
It's 400 laps, so that's 800 times you're going to be stabbing the brake with your leg. Oh, we have the points up again.
Sorry.
There you
Yeah,
go.
this-
Thank you. This helps me out. So like I feel like that might be rough on him. I could see him hopping in the car and then probably I would not be surprised if he hopped out of the car at like end of stage 1 or something like that, just due to like pain possibly. So, but hey, I've
Yeah.
never broken my leg. I don't know what it's like.
He said something about like the bone at this point is like healed or like it's strong enough, but it's just a matter of being comfortable. I think is something that I saw like from Bob Podcrest or someone like that. So I mean, obviously we're not his physicians, we're not the team. We don't know what's best for him. What's not only he does and his team, but it feels premature.
I've got to imagine he's been doing simulator stuff too.
Oh yeah, he has.
So he already has a feel of if it's going to hurt or not.
Yeah.
And I mean, especially since I've been watching older races, guys have driven through much, much worse.
Oh yeah.
So I'd be shocked if they pulled him during the race.
And something else too, not another Chase Briscoe is actually going to have surgery on his finger, I guess. So broke his finger.
They said he was having it, and then they said Tony Stewart hinted at he may not need it.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. I still don't even understand it.
He may or may not.
So I don't know.
Plot twist, he hasn't actually broken his hand.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
Drive one hand and use your knee.
Surgery and or not.
Use your knee.
You're a pro. You should know how to do this.
I'm impressed that he was able to race during all that because that had to have hurt his hand. Oh my god. But yeah, so
can I say something about the Elliott thing?
Yeah, go for it.
I know I was thinking maybe Talladega would be a better race to come back at.
Yeah.
Even though the risk of re-injuring it would be high in an accident, but you're not pressing the brake pedal at all.
So you only have to wait a week. We go there next week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's almost puzzling me. It's like, okay, well, maybe if you really, I don't know. I don't know how Chase is thinking. Who knows? Maybe he is a Superman. We have no idea. He's got a titanium rod in his leg or whatever. So yeah. It's interesting.
No, he's super. I hope it's not too soon for him to come back. I also hope he does well. We'll have to see. I mean, I think it's good for the sport that he's back. Let's be honest. Everyone's excited about it. I think it's good. I don't know. It'll be nice to have him back. So there's that. Let's see. Oh yeah. Speaking of, King of the Trail said, I have no idea who to put in my fantasy lineup. I keep thinking Truex will rebound, but it hasn't happened yet. I know.
You're preaching, brother. It's a hard life.
These are some stats that might help you. So Byron and Bell were the winners at this track last year. Obviously, Bell was able to win his way into the championship last year with this the fall race. And then Hamlin has the most wins with 5. Blaney actually has the best average finish at this track of the active drivers with a 9.7. Hendrick Motorsports, though, has the most wins by quite a bit. And then wins by manufacturer. Sometimes I think that stat doesn't even matter. Some tracks it really does. Like Richmond, it mattered a little bit. Same with the team with the most track wins, because it's usually going to be Hendrick or Chevy. But something around there. But yeah, Truex, I would like to see him rebound this weekend. Again, I feel like the Toyotas have been hit or miss this year. So I don't know.
Hit or miss.
I don't.
They've had good
The
short track.
Toyotas have been
Yeah.
Christopher Bell or nobody.
I'm also interested.
Short tracks.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how this weekend goes too, because number one, it's a day race.
Yeah.
And I just pulled up the weather, and the issue, it feels like in Martinsville, has been cold weather and these cars don't work well. And obviously we have a new short track package this year, but right now they're giving 78 degrees for race day on Sunday, and it's going to be pretty warm track temp.
Yeah.
Probably pushing 100 degrees on the asphalt. So I'm curious to see how the cars handle on that day.
Good drive off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that'll help the day overall for sure. And I think that'll kind of help the Toyotas in the long run. So also somewhat breaking news. Lionel is doing a Checkers or Wreckers version of Josh Williams's parked Atlanta car.
Oh,
Yo, no.
So buy your diecast kits.
yes.
Yo. Okay.
Mom or stepdaddy, if you're listening, you know what to do. Drop me a link in the Cash App,
That's
please, and thank you.
My dad is definitely listening because he sent me a text. So Dad, this is a car that would be really cool to have. Just saying. Just saying.
Well, it's Circle B, but either way, it's getting made.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's exciting.
Me and Jordan Bianchi spent about 3 hours sitting outside of the hall and waiting for Josh Williams to come out, and it was so cold.
Best friends forever.
Interview.
It was so great. So
Did you at least get a slice of pizza?
So no, I'll be very quick because I know we have to stay on topic here. But we were standing right at the front of the hall, or where the car was parked, and then Jordan remembered there was a side door, so he went and stood at the side door just in case he came out that way. And we were all sitting there. We started saying, "Come out with your hands up."
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
I love that.
Like, we just want to talk, Josh.
What a story, though.
It was so cold, but I'll remember that forever. That was so funny. We have the hauler surrounded.
I just loved. I retweeted the video of where he's on Pure. It says, "What are they gonna do? Fine me? I can't pay it." And then someone quote tweeted it with the man that was stabbed said, "Quote: What are they gonna do? Stab me?" Yes, that's the energy I need.
True. Oh my god. No, that was. What was funny was because when you were at that race, you texted me. You're like, "Hey, do you want me to get the top 5 finishers, or just wait for Josh Williams?" And I'm like, "Bro, that's an easy answer. Wait for Josh." Hours later, it was a great interview.
Josh, come on the podcast.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Get Josh
come on the podcast.
Drop us a link, buddy.
Oh.
What? Okay,
Oh.
Matt, do you want to share this in the comments now?
Oh yes. Okay, I know what he's talking about. If he wants me to tell, I'll tell. But that's up to him.
Give us the word, Matt, and we'll talk about it.
I'll let him greenlight it if he wants to. No. Yeah, we waited.
Oh man.
Josh didn't come out because they weren't. All right, give me a second. He didn't come out until about probably maybe 40 minutes after the checkered fell. 40 minutes to an hour, because they didn't actually start talking to him until the race ended. So he had been sitting in there for a good 4 hours before.
Yeah.
He was marinating.
Yeah, it was rough. Okay, so yeah, Matt, he works in the he occasionally does the parking at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. And a couple days ago, Steve O'Donnell came through. So we got to talk to Steve O'Donnell. And then after him, I think it was Jim France.
Oh, wow.
I think. And then I think there was one other person. I'll see if he puts it in. But I remember Steve O'Donnell for sure was one of them. Was the first one.
Dang.
So yeah, he's living the dream.
Living the dream. Life. Man, Helton is what he said. Oh, that's a cool conversation.
Mike Helton,
the grandfather.
Yo.
Mike Helton.
I have a funny story about Mike Helton at the Hall of Fame during my Hall of Fame days. I was holding a door open for him. He was walking through. And I go, "Here you go, Mr. President." And he just kind of looked at me and he kind of grinned like a. He kept going on by. I thought to myself, wow, you are a stupid idiot. Wow. And then, like 2 minutes later, Richard Petty came walking through, and I kept my mouth shut.
No, my
I was
God.
just like, come on, let's go.
You just walk on through.
Grand Ballroom is
Close the
that
door,
way.
my lord.
The Grand Ballroom is that way, sir. Keep it moving. Let's go.
Please don't acknowledge my
Yeah.
existence.
My
I like
God.
your hat.
You look great
Is that
today.
custom?
So just say, is that a new hat? It looks really nice on you. Just
I
wondering.
like your sunglasses, but we're inside, sir.
It's a mood. It's a vibe. We're gonna bring Rob's here. We're gonna bring Rob in. You go.
Oh,
What up, gang?
In his Jimmy Johnson hat
AJ.
Go.
and
JJ
his
Dynamite.
Hawaiian
Two
shirt.
microphones.
It's hot. It's hot in here.
I love it.
It feels like summertime.
Can we get some chest hair on stream?
I hate it. No.
No.
Oh.
Dang. All right, Taylor.
Can we get some chest
I
hair
was-
off stream?
I was joking, but Taylor's like
There you go, Ben.
gross. No.
Let's go.
Nice to know that's how you feel about me, Taylor.
I love you, Rob. Though.
All right, I'm leaving the stream. Bye.
No.
guys,
a wrap.
let's go.
Boycott.
Yeah.
Everyone leaves. Everyone
Let's
leaves.
go, guys.
What did I miss? I'm sorry, I'm late.
We went through like everything. We did Bristol Dirt. We talked about some news. The only news that's not attached to Martinsville was that Hendrick Motorsports is not appealing that L1 penalty. And then we talked about previewing Martinsville. Each series, who's going to be racing in the series, making their debuts, or just notable names, and then Chase Elliott's return. So, yeah.
You mean I don't get to get on my soapbox about Bristol Dirt?
If you know what, if you want to, since you missed it, go ahead.
I don't really have much to say other than never go back.
Okay.
And that's coming from somebody who enjoyed the racing there on Sunday night.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the racing there, and I was still like, never do this again.
That was a good
Kyle-
sense.
Same.
Kyle
Yeah.
Larson, it doesn't feel like a. It definitely shouldn't be a points paying race.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
That if you're gonna if you wanna do that, I hate to say make it the Clash, because I'd hate the Clash to lose even more of its identity.
Yeah.
But make it an exhibition race. But preferably never do it again. And if you're gonna go on dirt, go to an actual dirt track and don't waste a date on Bristol's concrete, because we're missing. We've now had 3 years of great racing at Bristol that we could have had. It was a cool experience. It was a cool experiment. Don't get me wrong, but it definitely didn't need to be. It really didn't need to be 3 years. 1 year, okay. 2 years, okay. Let's try and fix after the first one. I think, and honestly, I really do think this is a 3 strikes and you're out kind of situation, because if I'm correct, the last 2 years they've announced the return of it at that race, and
That's true.
as far as I know, they didn't do that this year. So
I think they announced pre-sale tickets, but I mean that's nothing.
Yeah.
Other tracks
Okay.
have done that before in the past. So.
Well, I didn't put it this way. I didn't hear anything about it on the broadcast, which they've made a big deal about in the last couple of years. Is
The
it's
first
coming
year,
back
they,
next
like, blew
year?
it up, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's something else I will bring up too. For those fans that have just tuned in the past few years, and I can say, just for example, my boyfriend's dad, this is his favorite race on the schedule.
Ooh, Taylor's got a boyfriend.
So, okay, guys, it's fine.
Sawyer.
Come on,
Sawyer,
guys.
You got to coach
You
daddy up.
signed a contract?
Taylor, I gotta be honest. I didn't realize body pillows had fathers.
Rob,
Wow.
anywho,
This is what happens when I'm stuck in an office all day. They've
Well,
let
shut
me
up.
out, and I'm ready to cause chaos.
Rob
I've
is
had to-
unhinged.
I've had to act like a normal person during my first week in the office. This is my time to shine.
sure, Rob.
I love you, Taylor, but this is
I-
what you get for saying for talking about my chest hair.
Well, shoot. Anywho,
We're
Your
even.
boyfriend's dad.
yes, he
We're even. I'm sorry.
loves this race. He loves this race, and some fans, I'm sure younger fans love this race too. So it's brought in new audiences, it's brought in a new crowd, it's brought in a different crowd, and it is a spectacle for the right or wrong reasons. People watch it. They want to know if it's going to be bad or good. And this year, it was received pretty well compared to the last few.
Yeah,
So
the only issue is this race was good enough to resurrect it. Unfortunately,
yeah,
it was good enough to give it another date.
It would qualify for that. So we would have to hope for next year to be a stinker.
We shouldn't have to root against races. That's what I kind of hate. We shouldn't have to root against races to lose gimmicky stuff.
that's true.
Because it feels like a lose-lose situation, because if we're going off that, they're never going to get rid of it. So like, I think Denny Hamlin was right in his podcast this week, where he said that the normal ovals are becoming the novelty, and I think we're inching further and further to that being fact. And I'm somebody who I love road courses. I think the schedule should have a healthy balance of road courses and ovals of all shapes and sizes, in order to have a competitive season. But you don't need to do asphalt for 35 races and then go run on dirt for one race. This doesn't make sense. It made sense back in the day because they ran at several dirt tracks.
Yeah.
But
they were also racing 2 to 3 times a week.
Exactly. Right. Doing it once on a 36 race schedule, it makes no sense. The money, as John said, the money to dump the dirt on the track, the money that goes into prepping the cars and modifying them to, fit a surface that they're not really meant to race on a holiday that they don't want to race on, that a lot of people don't want to see a race on. I don't know. It just...
Don't forget the money to get the dirt out of there.
That's the other thing,
no
too.
Kidding.
Yep.
I just think it makes too much sense to not go back, and I think that's exactly why we're going back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. NASCAR has a plan.
Yeah, and I'll say too, it rained a bunch at a lot of the spring Bristol races before the dirt, but I also have very fond memories of great spring Bristol races. The one that comes to mind is 2008, where Kyle Busch wrecked from the lead, and Tony Stewart and Kevin Harvick weren't even battling for the win. They were battling for position, and Harvick turned Stewart. And that was with coming to the white flag or 2 to go.
Yeah.
And Mike Joy said, and these fans will get everything they paid for and more. And on the restart, Hamlin, I think, lost a gear.
I think it was fuel pickup.
Fuel pressure. Jeff Burton scooted right by him and took the win, and nobody thought Burton was winning that race. And it was 1-2-3 RCR. That was a good the year before that with Burton and Kyle Busch. Exactly.
The first COT race.
Yeah. It's had moments where
that was a banger of a race.
The COT thrived at Bristol.
Yeah. And then going even further back, 1997, Rusty Wallace had that race won. Gordon bumped him out of the way for the win on the last lap. It was Rusty Wallace led almost every lap of that race. And
was it the spring race that Kenseth and Gordon? Was that?
That was the snow weekend. That was the snow weekend.
That's right. Yeah. The spring race. Snow at Bristol,
but the probation race.
Yeah. So I mean, it's had its moments where it worked, but I also get when it rains, nobody goes.
But see, we do the. I feel like we're having not the exact same conversation. And Taylor, I really did not mean to send this stream off schedule.
Oh,
but I feel like we're having the same conversation about Bristol that we do and should be having about Charlotte with the Roval. As Dom said, he's got very fond memories of the spring Bristol race. I have such fond memories of the October Charlotte race.
Yeah.
It was the only night race during the fall.
Same. Only one
the Thursday night
first race I saw in person.
The Thursday night qualifying session where it was cold and those cars were screaming around the track.
2013 Jeff Gordon qualifying lap,
The
October.
pink cars just
Breast
popping
cancer awareness.
Yeah.
on that track. It's that I don't know. There was some sort of magic about it that you don't get with the Roval, and it's. I mean,
Well, here's my thing too with that is we have a different car now. Do we try to go back to these old dates, this old type of thing with the Gen 7 to see if it works, if it's better? Do we try to go back?
It's weird that you ask that because if you look at what we've done, we've got the new car, but we're going to places we've never been before.
Right.
Instead of going back and trying this again. So
yeah, we're trying to fix it. I think Adam just sent us the video of Jeff Gordon's 2013 qualifying session.
Yeah, he did.
Is that it? I knew it. I knew it.
Oh,
But,
Let's go.
Charlotte.
but thinking back 2007, that race, Ryan Newman was running away with it, and I even remember the camera angle. They were showing the battle for second, which I think was between Kyle Busch and Clint Boyer and Jeff Gordon. I think it was those three. And then out of the corner of the shot, you just see smoke, and it's Ryan Newman spinning out and hitting the wall. That race had a bunch of just incidents that just there was a lot of strategy in it too. I also remember that race for being one of AJ Allmendinger's best races in 2007. I don't know why I remember that, but I remember he finished like 12th, and 10-year-old me was like, "All right, let's go."
There's good memories there. I don't know. I personally do think it is worth trying to go back to some of the old tracks or the old configurations that we've run. But I also understand the importance of looking for something new, going to different markets, moving forward. So again, I say this like I kid you not, it's like every other live stream. I don't envy the position NASCAR is in, where they're trying to balance the old and the new, moving forward, honoring the history, especially in the 75th year. I don't envy them at all with this, but maybe they could try it, even if it's just a test.
Run the boot. Run the boot. Run the
Oh my
boot.
god.
Run the boot.
Oh, just what we need, another long road course.
Oh,
Keep the Glen the way it is. It's too
Yeah.
fun.
we do love the
Yeah,
Glen.
that was
80
like
Glen
that
is
was like
the best
90% a joke, but also 10% was me kind of wanting to see it.
Honestly, you just do know.
No,
That's too long of a lap.
same
They've
gotta
thing.
figure-
like
they've
when
gotta figure out how to run on
everybody
the
wanted
road.
Sonoma to go back to the carousel, and it was
Oh,
a
God,
complete
no.
flop.
No.
They've
Short
gotta-
shoot this year.
Short
They've got to
shoot
figure
all
out
the way.
They've got to figure out how to run on the road courses that they currently have before they change anything else.
Hot take, I would not mind if Sonoma was replaced with something else.
Oh my gosh, you're out of your mind.
Taylor.
That's an L take.
Taylor,
That's an
no.
L take.
Major L.
Taylor, I'm going to say this. Taylor would not be having that thought if Sonoma was run when it was green.
That's
We
fair.
talked about this.
We got
talked
green.
about this earlier.
Another
one.
Another one.
No,
We've
you
got green
should
two
be.
Sonomas. I don't want to go to Sonoma twice.
You should be glad they brought the short shoot back because
Yeah.
Because I've seen a race without it, and I didn't like it. I like when they have the short shoot.
it's too long of a lap.
Yeah.
It's too long of a lap, and those are way too technical of corners.
Yeah.
It really doesn't invite any passing at all. But like
No,
short shoot
and that
is- the short shoot is just such an absurd 90-degree turn. It's just
Yeah.
so inviting.
90 degrees, it's like an
Fine.
O, and then it comes
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
I mean, all this to say, I don't dislike Sonoma. That's not what I'm saying. But of all the short tracks, it's not my favorite. Not
I
short
agree
tracks.
with
excuse me,
Joe.
road courses.
Yeah, Joe's
Thank
right.
you, Joe.
No.
Go back.
Thank
you, Joe.
That is a based comment.
That is the glaring. That is the glaring one where we're saying
Yes.
we should go back to an old track with the new car. We should be going
Back
to the Indy
to the
Oval.
oval.
The first thing,
You know,
the
what?
first thing I thought of seeing that comment is Seinfeld when he talks to Steinbrenner for the first time. Hire this man.
Here's the bad thing. I actually forgot we were in the Indy road course. That's how much of just a side character
because-
that track is to
That's
me.
because we all try to just erase it from our memories because
And it killed half the
it's-
drivers it had on track, too.
Yeah.
God.
R.I.P. to all those brave chassis.
Ugh. Yeah, at least if anything, keep Sonoma. Get rid of that. Get rid of the Indy Road Course. We don't need it. We don't need it. But let's close it all out here. We don't make our race picks like really public until the day of the race because we all do random picks. But if we go around in a circle, name 2 drivers that you think have a shot this weekend. It may be a dark horse pick if you want to do that. I know we always start with Ben, so I'm going to start with Adam.
Yeah.
It's not me.
Coming off my checkered flag. Man,
You can't pick Jeff Gordon nor Jimmy Johnson. Just throwing
darn!
that.
You can't pick Rusty Wallace either.
Can I take Dale Earnhardt?
Mile wall trip.
You can pick Ricky Craven. You can pick Ricky
Yes.
Craven.
Or Ted Musgrave.
I'm gonna take Leroy Yarborough.
Bro.
No, sorry, his cousin Cale
Underrated
Yarborough.
the best Yarborough.
This weekend, man, just trying to think back from all the Martinsville races from like last year, the 2 that we went to, all of them. I make it sound like we go there all the time. Give me Logano as who I think is going to be my favorite, and my dark horse. This one's for you, Ben. Mr. Martin Truex Jr.
Dear God, you better be right, or I might take a bath with a toaster.
Rob, who you got?
I think I'll give you 2 guys like Adam did. I think especially the way he's run this year and the way he ran at Martinsville last year, I think it's hard to bet against William Byron. Especially bet against Hendrick Motorsports. They've got everything going for them and more. They are the face of the sport, whether we like it or not. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good, because you think about how he ran there last year. If I'm right, he dominated. It was him and Chase Elliott that dominated that race.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then before he got his first win, that was where his career best was in 2019 when he finished runner up to Martin Truex. And the my other kind of dark horse pick, this guy, we've been kind of on his train all year. And I think it's finally time for us to get some results from Ryan Preece. And I think Martinsville's a good track for him to rebound at. He's a short track guy. I'd have to look on Racing Reference, but he might have a modified win at Martinsville. But I am not entirely sure. But I think he'll shine.
Priest
Just
did
stay away
great at
from
Bristol
Kyle
Dirt.
Larson.
Yep, thank you. Exactly. Oh, that made me so mad. He was doing so well last week, but we'll move aside. Dom, who you got?
I'm 100% on board with what Rob said. I mean, if you want to win Martinsville, you got to go through Hendrick.
Yep.
Whether it's Larson or Byron, I really think it's going to be one of those 2. I wouldn't be surprised if Chase was in contention, but I don't think it's going to happen. That
was gonna be my other kind of question to pose to you guys is, where do you think Chase finishes?
I think he'll be top 10. I think he'll
Okay.
be top 10.
Yeah.
I would, not because it's his number, but I would give him 9th. But that just because, I mean, I have no idea where he is with his injury. He may have been ready to go 2 weeks ago. We just don't know. But we'll see. I think top, just because it's a Hendrick car, and if he stays clean, I think he's in good shape to get a top 10. But I really think, man, the cup goes through Larson or Byron right now. So I would say keep an eye on both of them. And I would love, especially just for the sport in general, I would love to see those 2, just like Gordon and Johnson, just duking it out and just trying to one-up each other throughout the race. But other than that, I mean, you also have to remember that TRD has got their stuff together on short tracks this year. So I want to say Denny Hamlin, but that's only if they can stretch fuel 400 miles and he doesn't have to pit.
And if they minimize mistakes.
Yes. But Christopher Bell finally punched his ticket. So I think you could keep an eye on him as well. It could be his weekend, but I still think I'm just going to have to go with Larson and Byron for my 2.
Ben, same thoughts?
I won't lie. I have not been paying attention because I was trying to find out. I cannot find Ryan Preece a win at Martinsville and Modified. So,
Okay, well,
sorry. It's Martinsville.
I can't find it.
I know Dom just said it. Like it's kind of hard in some ways to go for him, but like you can't bet against Denny at him at Richmond and Martinsville. You just can't.
Mhm.
It's his bread and butter. It always has been, always will be. So I think Hamlin's going to be a slam dunk. As for an underdog, I didn't think I'd get this far. I don't know. Corey LaJoy, why not?
Okay.
Hey, that's a guy with a
Well-
modified win at Martinsville.
That is a guy from
You know?
that I do know.
we found our guy with a modified
We
Martinsville.
got the modified reference in there, guys. We did it.
Also, I'd be crazy not to mention. Somebody mentioned it earlier in the chats, but Randy LaJoy, named one of
That's
75 top
Well
drivers.
deserved. Well
Two-time
deserved.
No.
Busch Series champion.
Well
Oh, we
deserved.
bring that
Like
back.
Casey Kane.
Yeah, Casey Kane also brought into that list too.
Yes.
Not really deserved though.
Oh, come on.
You don't think
No.
I don't think
you've
so.
got
no.
you've got to take in off the track as well.
Yeah.
Because let's okay, Ben, let's be honest. If we're going off just on the track, there's a lot of drivers that shouldn't be on that list.
I mean, I agree with that.
Well,
Well,
there.
I'll also say too, he won the rate races too. He's got a handful of crown jewels.
I mean, yeah, but I still 75 greatest of all time. I don't know. I'd have to sit down and think
He's
about
got
it.
how many 600
Yeah.
wins? He's got 3.
So I think he won the 600.
There's more.
Yeah, I think he did win it 3 times. Yeah, 06,
he won-
08, and 12.
Well,
Stefanik was a
Did
good
he
pick.
did he ever win the Southern 500?
I don't think so.
no.
But
The
he- I
only
mean, he
year
won
it
the-
would have happened was 07. Or no, 06. I
No.
don't think he did.
Okay.
He went on
Um,
a tear. He went on a tear that year.
He did go on a tear that year. He won the race Reed Sorensen should have won anyway.
His
Um,
last career
Mike Stefanik was a good pick, though. Thank you, NASCAR. for
Yeah,
doing
I
so.
like
You're
that.
Depending, I mean,
Nick was a great pick.
I mean, he's
Never-
a Hall of Famer. You have to put him in there.
I mean, he was a
Yeah.
Hall of
Yeah.
Famer the moment he did that Daytona interview on the backstretch.
Yo.
I gotta bring that back. That was fun.
Battle of the
So-
beach, man.
Good list of guys that were joining that. I will say that I'm surprised nobody's mentioned this, and I might be crazy for mentioning this team to look out for this weekend. But RFK,
I've got
We'll
Bias.
see.
on that I've got another
You sure?
driver.
Maybe.
I've got another driver that we haven't talked about that is weirdly really good at Martinsville, and that's AJ Allmendinger.
This is true. He bops.
Yeah.
That's
He's run top 5
That's a
in
base
JTG
comment.
equipment
It's
a handful of times. Finished second. He's finished second there in both Penske and JTG equipment. I'd be interested to see what kind of car colleague gives him for this weekend, and I think he needs a good run.
yeah, no,
yeah. This
He
is a great
struggled a
track
bit.
for him because it's like a road course with the
Yeah,
yeah,
So that definitely fits his wheelhouse.
Get someone that talks about you the way Rob talks about AJ
I don't-
Allmendinger.
Yeah.
I love AJ Allmendinger.
He is a great
No.
guy.
look out for AJ. I still think. I mean, Brad's been on a good streak. I think look out for
Ran
him.
well at Martinsville last year.
Very
Yeah.
well good.
So I say look out for them. Again, if I pick Brad to do well, it's going to be Chris Buescher because it's just how my luck works. So just look out for them as a whole. But then I am kind of on the TRD train this weekend. I mean, yes, you're going to have to go through Hendrick, but I think Christopher Bell, maybe. He's been really strong at like every race we've gone to. I think Hamlin, this could be his weekend to finally just kind of break through, but we'll have to see. But that has been the live stream, you guys. The ATYL live stream. The top left corner of your screen, if you're watching, I mean, YouTube and Facebook, we have a QR code. If you scan that, you'll find all these folks' social media handles. They're also on our screen right now too, so you can see them. And the other ways to support us and other places to see our content. The Bristol Dirt video that I had up on Monday did very, very well. So thank you all for supporting that and watching it on YouTube
You're welcome.
and Facebook. Thanks, Ben. But in case you don't have the ability to scan that QR code, I have our social media pages like up here. I just gotta
2022. They should
find
be able to
them.
scan a QR code. Or
But like,
2023.
what if they don't? What if they're like, I don't want to do it?
Wrong
We have
year.
them right here. We have our social media pages right here. Toby Christie every social media platform, and then there are my handles for all my social media pages. And then I mentioned the full-length ATYL episodes. They go up on Facebook, YouTube, and all your favorite podcasting platforms every Monday. Eventually, I would like to get them up Sunday night, but we'll see how that goes. But every Monday, you can find them on any platform that you like to watch and or listen to. But that has been the live stream, you all. Thank you all for joining us on a Thursday night. Enjoy Martinsville this weekend, and we'll be back with you next week. I think I might do a gaming stream next week, so we'll see. And then another side note too, just so you know, the last week of April, I will not be doing a live stream. Just personal stuff to take care of. But that's all right. But we'll
She's
see you next week.
graduating college.
I am. So we're gonna take the time. Oh,
She's
okay.
getting trashed.
You guys. All right. Well, I'll see you then.
We're getting trashed in her honor.
baby.
Park
Bye,
job.